Hey guys, Blue Delta Wolf here. This is Magic the Gathering 2014 and I'm finally back into my Sweet 60s. So as you can see, I've unlocked the 5 new decks. I've just been completing the campaign for the last couple of days and uploading those videos. So yeah, sorry that it's taken so long guys. I've had a few requests from quite a lot of you wanting the new Sweet 60s for these decks. And of course I'm going to do final Sweet 60s for the decks that I now have 40 cards for. I finally got all the codes for them as well. So I've got them to come. Let's start with Sword of the Samurai, which is the new red and white deck. It's a very interesting deck actually. I like this one. I'm not very keen on red decks, as you probably know, but this one's red and white, and it's full of samurai creatures, and it can be made either very hard late game or early game, depending on how you want to go. Like, I'm going to build this as a fast aggro deck, but it can be built with some really strong legendary creatures as well. So I haven't really gone down the legendary route, so I've got 4 devoted retainers, which costs 1 for a 1/1 with Bushido. In case you didn't know what Bushido is, if a card is blocked or blocks, it gets a +1/1 for each point of Bushido it has. So this deck's very good defensively and if it's blocked. I've got Path to Exile, Hand of Honor, Protection from Black, Bushido 1. 3 Araba Moth Riders with flying. 3 Battle Mad Ronin with Bushido 2. It attacks each turn if able, which is great because like when you equip it with items and stuff like that, it's just relentless, and with that extra 2 Bushido points, it's really strong. This Emissaries Jitter is a very strong artifact card. It's a legendary artifact. It's basically a game winner. Whenever equipped creature deals damage, combat damage, you can put 2 charge counters on it, and you can remove the charge counters to either give yourself a +2/2, give the enemy a -+1/1, or gain 2 life. So basically that means you just control the combat. You know, save up a few points and then you can kill off creatures or buff yourself, or just keep yourself in the game with extra health. It's a very strong card. Lightning Helix deals 3 damage and you gain 3 life, 4 of them. Call to Glory. Untap all creatures you control. Samurai creatures you control gain a +1/1. So that's a very strong card because you can attack with everything, and then if it gets blocked by something that's equal or higher value, you can buff that creature, and all of your other creatures get to block next turn as well. Or you can just use it as a trick, so you can attack with everything, wait for the enemy to attack, they think you've got no blockers, and then you untap them all. Misako the Humorless, a legendary creature with flash. It's the same thing, but it's with a creature, so you can summon her on the enemy's turn and block with all of your tapped creatures. Kitsune's Blade Master, First Strike, Bushido 1. Sword of Fire and Ice, a very strong card, good equipment card. And equipped creature gets +2/2, protection from red and blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Sword of Fire and Ice deals 2 damage to target creature or player, and you draw a card. And of course the Sword of War and Peace, the similar thing, protection from red and white, +2/2, and it deals damage equal to the amount of cards in their hand, and you gain life equal to the amount of cards in your hand. This one's good for samurais. A samurai creature equipped with this card doesn't die, it gets returned to the battlefield, but if this gets put to the graveyard, then that creature is exiled instead. So it's still good, but it has a bad point too. Intimidation Bolt, great for slowing the enemy down, you know, pushing them back a turn. Deal 3 damage to target creature, and other creatures can't attack. Bushido 1, when it attacks, samurai creatures you control get +1/1. Indebted Samurai with Bushido 1, when samurais die, he gets 1/1. Another flyer with flying, Bushido 1. Do you know, that's actually not as good as some of the other cards in this deck. Let me just have a quick look. I'm sure there are better versions of the flyers that are cheaper. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I don't think so. That's the cheapest flying one. It's still a good card, unless I have all the other ones in already. Yeah, I do. I have my Araba Moth Riders, so maybe there's no need for it. Then again, it is a 2/2, I believe. Yeah, it's a 2/2 flyer, so it's good. Fumiko the Lowblood, she gets X Bushido, where X is the number of attacking creatures, so that works well if the enemy's attacking with a few creatures. She gets +1/1 when she blocks, of course. and if you're attacking with a few creatures and you get blocked, then she gets X Bushido again, so very strong. Glory of Warfare, I was going to run 4 of these, but 3 should be enough. It's an amazing card, +2 on your turn, +2 defense on the enemy's turn. Balefire Liege, these cards are always really strong. The Liege cards, I mean. So other reds get +1/1, your whites get +1/1 as well. If it's white and red, it gets +2/2. Whenever you deal a red spell, you get 3 damage to target player, and whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 3 life. So I really do love that card. It's been featured on previous decks, but I'm glad it's back. This guy is a 5 for a 4/4 with Vigilance, so you can attack with him, and then afterwards tap him and pay 2 to get an equipment card onto the battlefield and attach it to any creature you control. That's really strong. I was tempted to put 2 of him in actually and take one of my other ones out, but I want at least 1 of him for my Tatsumasa, which I'll show you in a second. And then there's Yosei the Morning Star, a legendary dragon spirit. When he dies, you can tap 5 permanents and player skips their next untap phase, which is very disruptive. And then we have this guy, Godo the Bandit Warlord. When he enters the battlefield, search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle, and when he attacks for the first time, you untap all samurai you control, and there's an additional combat phase, so very strong. Another legendary equipment here. Equipped creature gets 5/5. You can exile this sword and get a flying dragon spirit creature on the battlefield. And then when it dies, you can return this back to the field. So very strong. Good combo with Stonehewer Giant. And Godo Battle Warlord actually. And the final card is Warstorm Surge. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So that's just a fantastic card to have out. Cards that didn't make the cut for any reason. I mean, all of these cards are viable in this deck. There's lots of ways of building it. This is just the way I build it. I didn't put Terramorphic Expanse because I don't need it in a 2-color deck. I'd rather have 1 more white and 1 more red. I forgot to tell you as well, 60 cards, 22 creatures, 16 other and 22 lands. Didn't run many legendary creatures in this deck. That's 1 for a 2/2. It's not a bad card. To be fair, actually, it might even find a place yet. I could put him in and take that one out. You know, no big deal. Either or, they're both good. Mana Tithe, this isn't a counter deck and I don't want it to be. Brute Force is good. 1 for a 3/3 buff, but I prefer more just going on the Bushido and the Call to Warfare card. Whatever it's called. Glory of Warfare, that's the cards I use for buffs. Having these instants really, they weigh their deck down. I like having a lot of Bushidos with these buffs. It's just brilliant enough as it is. Steel Shaper's Gift is good. I didn't need it. I don't run that many equipments. Again, I don't run that many legendaries either, so he didn't make the cut. 3 of those is enough. Same reason I didn't play that one. I don't run that many legendaries. No Dachi is good. There are other cards that are better. I don't want that many equipments. Double Strike for 1 turn isn't worth it for me. It's good, but it's not worth it. Again, this one, I have other cards that do this, so only ran 1 of those. Show of Valor, again, is good, but I'm not going for that kind of a style deck. That one would also be good. It's kind of like a ramping card, but I couldn't find a space for it personally. I mean, I could remove 1 Glory of Warfare, but I decided against it. Kitsune Blades Master, I'm sure I've got 1 or 2 of them already in there. Yeah, I've got 2 of them, I don't need 4. Good for legendaries. This card is also good, but it's kind of expensive, and if I'm relying on just its cost, then I'd never put it in there. Got 1 of those, got 1 of those, got 3 of those, got 1 of those. This guy's good. Don't like sacrificing samurais. And Double Strike is strong, but it's only for 1 turn, and eventually you're going to find yourself without samurais. And plus, it's 5 for a 3/3. Too expensive. Zealous Conscript is a very good card. It costs 5. Didn't find a place in my deck. Takino, these are the legendaries that I cut. It's 6 for a 3/3. Even with his effect, that's too expensive for me. This one's 6 for a 5/5. When it dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Now that infects my creatures, it's not good enough for me. Got one of those. This guy's 7 for a 3/3. Even with Bushido 5 and Indestructible, it's too expensive for me. This one's getting even worse now. 8 for a 4/6. She has Divinity counters and Indestructible. Destroy all other creatures. I'm sure that they're fantastic in certain decks, but it wasn't the style I was going for. Same with Avatar of Slaughter. It costs 8 for an 8/8. All creatures have double strike and attack each turn if able. That's all creatures, not just creatures you own. So still not good enough for me. And the final one costs 10. Myojin of Infinite Rage. He enters the battlefield with a divinity counter. He's indestructible, and you can destroy all lands. I'm sure that is a fantastic card with the right build, but it's not my personal build. So here we go, guys. Here's Sword of the Samurai. I hope this deck guide helped you in any way. If it did, or you want to leave a comment, these decks always do get a lot of comments, which is fantastic. You know, try and keep it constructive if you can. And yeah, feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. It really helps. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy.